Remember the COVID toilet paper shortage crisis? Pretty funny stuff. But it won't be funny if there is an oil shock, a fuel crisis. Because Australia has just 24 to 26 days of in-country liquid fuel supplies. That's according to The Scoop that Rex Patrick, our transparency warrior, has just written. Rex got back some FOIs, Freedom of Information requests this week. He spent a year trying to get these things, the National Liquid Fuel Emergency Response Plan. And the government, our elected representatives, spent $150,000 of your money fighting him. Because, it's important public interest material, so definitely should not be viewed by the hoi polloi like us. Carpooling, all sorts of emergency measures in there. And no wonder they wanted to keep it under wraps. Here's the story. The full rundown from Rex on how the crisis would play out. Supermarkets out of food in a week, chemists out of medicines. Mayhem. It's all about logistics. The plan shows what a government would do in this scenario. And it's not unlikely to happen at some point. All you've got to do is look at what's going on in the Middle East at the moment. So what happens if the bowsers start to run dry? This is critical stuff. Because our new allies, our friends, America and Israel, are now allies in the war on the Syrian government. And guess who they're partnered up with? Yes, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, rebranded. Mine enemy's enemy is my friend. That's our boys, Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Will they join AUKUS and make it AUKUSy? Al-Qaeda, Australia, UK, US, and ISIS. Now, it's a dreadful mess. Now, two things spring to mind here on energy. The coalition's nuclear energy boondoggle and the rather obvious plan to de-risk Australia in the event of an oil shock. What's the answer? Quite simple. Electrification, ramp it up, as all the experts with any credibility not in the Murdoch media say. As we've said here many times before, experts including, yes, IEMO, the regulator, and so on, these people that actually know energy finance, know the energy market and the operation inside out, they all know that we can transition in Australia by electrification and decentralising the grid. Decentralisation is good. And this has been put here clearly, with pristine clarity, by energy expert David McEwen, a climate expert. We'll put the links in the description to the couple of relevant pieces on this matter. Suffice to say, we can do it without nuclear. Everybody knows we can, anybody who's anybody. Here's the story. Read it in the description. Okay, so Energy Minister Chris Bowen is on it. He is doing it. He knows. In fact, the Future Fund initiative by Chalmers to say that they should spend money on this stuff because they already spend money on particular mandates like, the medical fund and so on. It's a good idea. It can be done independently. That's what the Future Fund should be used for. Certainly not for investing in Elbit Systems whose bombs blow up innocent people in Gaza. Future Fund needs to get on this, get out of that investment, or they are at risk of assisting in genocide. In any case, the whole problem is hampered by the primates from News Corp who are still running their science versus wokeness, their war on wokeness. The climate wars are still going after 2 decades, but the answers are obvious. EVs, 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 grids everywhere, decentralisation, batteries. Yes, they're dangerous. We're going to do something on that soon. Working with local government, state governments, federal governments, corporations. Decentralisation means de-risking our country for these kind of shocks, precisely these kind of shocks. Simples. Meanwhile, the coalition policy, which might have been written, we're just guessing here, by Jane Austen, famous English novelist. What was it? 1800s? Was it 1700? Actually, not a bad name for it. The Pride and Prejudice energy policy of the coalition is to kick off nuclear from day one in office. David Littleproud said so much this week. Day one, said David. He's the Pride and Dutz is the Prejudice. Still, no numbers, no modelling, no costings. No word on technology, because the Chinese have the best technology. Will Peter be getting his nuclear technology from China, the dreaded China? No laws, no sites secured, No water plan, these things are thirsty. No everything, no anything, except for a campaign idea. No idea. And when you think about it, they know this. Okay, benefit of the doubt, some of the coalition people and certainly Sky News viewers may not believe it, but as we've said many times here, this is not a real thing. It is a stalking horse for office, not a policy. The whole game is to make Dutton look decisive and Albo vacillating. It's all about image. It's all about campaigning. Nuclear is not fair dinkum, and it's pushed by the coalition's media mates who are taking it seriously. Not all of them, but a lot of them. The whole thing is just cooked up to delay renewable energy on behalf of the coalition's fossil fuel donors. Simple as that. And to create a difference, to make it look like Peter has a policy, the Pride and Prejudice policy. We're tempted to say that this is the biggest fraud ever in electoral terms, in sheer dollar estimates it is. What are we talking, 100 billion, 200 billion? Knowing Australia, probably more. This thing won't fly, but they are deceiving a nation. And that's why they have given us no information on this so-called policy. We're still waiting. Maybe they'll put it out in the graveyard time, the bring out your dead time, the 24th of December perhaps, on Christmas Eve, also this week. And this is, we can see it happening. Insurance bills up 30% and so on, because they've got to offlay the risk, these guys, to climate events. And this isn't just some paid for piece of stuff from one of the big four or some consultancy that is coming up with whatever answer the Commissioner has desired. A $20 trillion hit. Economic modelling by a network of 141 central banks, including Australia's Reserve Bank, predicts a 14% annual blow to the nation's gross domestic product under existing global climate policy settings. The writing is very much on the wall. Thank you for your support. Thank you for viewing. Please like, share and comment in the space below.